There's a war going on, and your kids' genitals are at risk.
Most hated trans woman, move over, Blaire White.
Sit down and get schooled.
I haven't even watched a full video of hers at all.
And there you have it. What the fuck's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought it'd be fun to go up on a little app called TikTok and search up my name and respond to videos about me, because fun fact, I am banned from TikTok if you didn't know. And so I can't respond to any TikToks on the app, so I'm gonna do it here. And also, we all know TikTok is like the wokest of all the apps, and so everything I believe is gonna pretty much be at odds with the prevailing narrative and theme of TikTok. And frankly, from all these woke TikTok videos we've done, we all know there's just fucking batshit insane people on that app. So let's see what everyone has to say. First up, we have Emily. What's up, Emily?
I don't know if you saw this Blaire White nonsense where she's like, I'm old enough to remember when first names of teachers was a mystery, and now they want to share their sexuality and what their gender is.
Which is a legitimate problem. There are viral TikTok videos literally every single day, hundreds at this point, of teachers coming out to their students, telling kids about sexual orientations that are just vague and obscure and not age appropriate. This is a very known problem that's happening. And I don't fucking feel bad about calling it out.
And I'm like, oh, sweetie, sit down and get schooled. You were born in 1998. I was born
in 93, Miss Thing.
in 1985. I was starting high school before you were even conceived.
Congratulations. We all know the older you are, the smarter you are, right? Totally. That's like a thing.
So let me tell you, I definitely remember the first names of several teachers.
Ow. Oh, you got me. Oh my God, my entire ideology is crumbling before me because you remember a first name of one of your teachers?
We totally knew them. It happens. We also knew their sexuality. They were only too happy to share their marriage status. And sometimes...
Because marriage status is totally the same thing as telling someone your sexuality. Right.
Sometimes discuss their marriages maybe a little too much.
Probably shouldn't have. In fact, they definitely shouldn't have. I never have had any issue with if a male teacher is married to a man or vice versa, you know, them bringing their partner around to school events or whatever, like that's gonna be a thing that happens, right? Obviously, I'm not anti-gay marriage and I'm not homophobic. However, there's a difference between that, right? And teaching kids about sexuality, gender identity, teaching them that if they like boy things, they have to be a boy. If they like girl things, they have to be a girl. There's a big difference between those things. And if you can't see that, you're either intentionally not trying to see it or you're muddying the waters on purpose, which I'm betting is more likely that.
I've certainly met living proof that my teachers have had sex because their kids often went to the same school, or if they were adults, they dropped by sometimes to drop off something in the middle of class, perhaps. Or alternatively, they told us about their children.
Yeah, that's totally the same thing as teaching kids about sexuality. Right. You got me, Emily. Knife through the motherfucking heart.
Blaire White is another one of those ultra privileged trans people that I will never understand.
How am I privileged? No, really, like this is what I get launched a lot at me. How? So let's see. I grew up with an entire family on drugs. I grew up in pretty much poverty. I wasn't dirt poor, but I didn't have any extra money. My dad died when I was a kid. I was raped the same year my dad died as a kid. I support myself entirely. I funded my own transition entirely through my own work. Didn't have a handout from a single person my entire life. And I'm still working to this day to support just me and the people that I love. So where's the privilege? I guess what they mean is that, like, I'm not ugly. I don't look like a beast. Well, that's also through hard work. So I don't understand what the issue is.
Because she hasn't struggled like most of us trans people have struggled. And so she just doesn't fully understand or get.
How are you so comfortable making that statement? You don't know me. Like, imagine making the statement that someone hasn't struggled and you don't even know the person. I've been pretty open about all my struggles on my channel. I've talked about, you know, how my gender dysphoria was so bad before I transitioned, I couldn't even leave the house. I've talked about depression. I've talked about family issues. I've talked about being raped. Like, girl,
get it. She has a lot of really problematic views, and why I think she's worse than Caitlyn Jenner is because she spreads misinformation, like literally fake news.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little test here. We're gonna see if this person, whose name is Rosalind, gives a single example of me spreading fake news, my problematic opinions. What I'm guessing is she's gonna skate right past it.
But she also, just has like really strong opinions that are very transphobic, that are very problematic, that are very racist, that are very ableist, and that are very classist. And
Is there an example? I don't think there's an example.
I can't get behind her. I don't recommend looking her up. I haven't even watched a full video of hers at all.
And there you have it. How do you sit up on TikTok talking about anyone spreading false information? Saying things about me without ever watching a video? See, how are you so confident that none of the information you're spreading, Miss Thing, is not fake news, problematic, misinformed, a lie, when you've never watched a video? How does that make any sense in your head?
I just, know enough about her to know that I, think that she's the worst representation of what a trans person can be.
Thank God you're here to be the good representation of trans people, talking about shit you have no idea about, talking about a person you have no clue about. Thank God.
The trans community hates me and is constantly mad at me. They practically disown me every day.
True.
Also, here's this random non-binary person on TikTok. Allow me to gatekeep the trans community from them and tell them how they aren't actually trans because I'm a spokesperson of the trans community, clearly.
True. But really, it's so funny that I've never called myself a spokesperson for the trans community. I'm just a bitch on the internet speaking my own mind. And I just happen to have people listening. The only people who call me a spokesperson of the trans community are you guys. You guys have literally elected me. You've put me in office. You guys are the only ones saying I'm a spokesperson for the community. And then you get mad that I'm claiming that when I never have. So thanks for keeping me in office for so long.
There's a war going on, and your kids' genitals are at risk from sexual reassignment and beta blockers.
What the fuck is a beta blocker? And what is this?
No matter what side of the trans issue you're on, you're going to want to watch these two, Blaire White and Buck Angel, on YouTube. I'm
sorry, if these are the people who hate me, I'm sorry. If these are the people who hate me, I'm so confident. I'm fine with that. I'm so fine with that.
Blaire White's page. The video is called The Truth About Trans Kids from Trans Adults. They stand with the parents, and as do I, with the whole notion of leaving kids' genitals alone. Join both of them on YouTube for a candid and in-depth talk.
Wait, this person's a fan. I'm so sorry. I'm such a bitch. I can see why people hate me. I'm literally the worst. Sorry. But
why are you watching Blaire White in the first place if you're following someone like me?
I don't get it. Was the second person agreeing with the first one or not? Anyways. I feel like these are like aliens from a different planet, no?
This is for Kaz. Check it. Bitch so hit, had to ask if she alright. Most hated trans woman, move over, Blaire White. My man behind the wall, finna send a kite. Ain't no rest for the wicked, I could do this all night. God sent me from heaven too, and the blight. He said you beautiful, I said you're welcome, I'm just being polite. Think my bark is bad, feel my bite. When I see you, just know that it's on sight. Finna make a am, yup, I just might. Wicked witch, leave these other hoes in fright. I'm a blood-sucking vampire, but I live in the daylight. Rather break bread with ya than fight. I'm a lady than a gangster, get it right.
What was that? Oh my god. Oh my god. I almost beat. But wait, I can't tell if that person hates me or loves me. She said it was on site. I know what that means, where I come from. But before we go any further, this video is sponsored by the app Ibble. Ibble is an amazing app, you guys. I use it, and they actually are sponsoring my podcast and giving me the studio to film that podcast in. So they're just an amazing company. I stand by them so hard. It's an app that is committed to free speech, committed to letting users speak their minds, speak what they really feel. I've had conversations with the CEO. I know where their heart is with this app, and I completely believe in it. So I highly suggest you guys go download the app, follow me on there. Honestly, it's a much easier way to talk to me on an app that is new and doesn't have a lot of users than it is to message me on here or Instagram or anywhere else, because I'm 100% more likely to see it. So follow me on Ibble. But back to the video.
I don't think about Blaire White.
And yet here you are making a video.
Barely crosses my mind. Mostly I just feel bad for her. She's
You feel bad for me? Okay. Okay.
incredibly insecure, and you can tell. She just does this nonsense because she thinks if she gets chummy with people like Ben Shapiro, it will ensure her survival.
I love how people love to just say bullshit. The groupthink is really real with these people because they have a few lines they say and they're always the same and they're always bullshit. Here's one. Blaire just loves sucking up to people like Ben Shapiro. They love bringing Ben Shapiro up. Meanwhile, I've debated Ben Shapiro on my channel. I am the only trans person on the internet to get Ben Shapiro to concede a point. I debated Ben Shapiro, told him how dumb it was to ever call me he in public, and he conceded, and he said he would call me she. Go on my channel, watch the video for your reference, but they never talk about that, right? It's Blaire sucking up to Ben Shapiro. Meanwhile, I'm the only trans person that's ever won a debate against him. But that doesn't mean anything, right? Okay.
But it won't. They'll toss her away the second it's convenient for them, and they'll use her existence to justify stripping away the rights of other trans people.
Like what? No, really, like what right have I ever advocated to be stripped away from a trans person? I'll wait. Leave it in the comments.
So yeah, I think she's a bad person, but I mostly just pity her, because there is nothing she can ever do to her body that will make her love herself, and that is a sad place to be.
Right. That's the other line I love saying. Blaire doesn't love herself. Meanwhile, every single person who knows me in real life knows that my actual main problem is I love myself a little too much. And they always love bringing up surgeries and what I do to my body and getting work done. Ironically, that just seems kind of transphobic to me. Like, why are you bringing up my transition all the time? Not just this person, they all do. They say, well, Blaire's get this done, and Blaire's lips, and Blaire's nose, and Blaire's boobs. That's all to do with my transition. How is that even on the table for people who are constantly claiming things about transphobia? They also love saying I'm constantly getting work done, which, by the way, I haven't gotten work done in like a week.
If you get to heaven and you see her, bitch, you're in hell. If you get to heaven and you see her, you're in hell.
You right. I actually fully concede that I'm probably going to hell.
Dissatisfied with just not understanding pronouns, conservatives have moved on to not understanding adjectives. This is your warning. You better hide your favorite verbs and prepositions, because they're bound to not understand them either.
But did you prove anything wrong? You didn't. There's absolutely a difference between trans women and women. I don't really give a fuck. Like, let's see, one example. The penis. My penis. That's probably a big difference. Yeah.
Morning. Question of the day. For all the cisgendered people out there who feel as if they know everything under the sun, what do you do when your method in protecting children from...
I'm gonna need you to brush your teeth before you get on camera. I'll never understand people who get on camera with yellow teeth as if that's not one of the most fixable things. Like, I'm sorry to be mean, but it's the first thing I'm saying, and that's just real.
from being affirmed in their gender is actually costing them their lives? And how could your approach be considered saving children when inadvertently the damage that you will be causing by restricting or cutting off trans youth healthcare starts to have a real effect? Fortunately, us as a species never learn until there's a great tragedy. It's the reason why we have seatbelts in our car.
This really reveals how their reality is so fucking opposite of actual reality. So they think the great tragedy is not letting children sterilize themselves, is not letting children hack off their body parts. That's what they think the great tragedy is. And the people are going to learn from that. And we're going to look back and think, wow, we really fucked up not letting Timmy cut off his dick at 14. We really fucked up not sterilizing Kellyanne at 12. Yeah, that's going to be the lesson from all this. Totally. It's not the exact opposite. You nailed it.
I hope that the next coming years sees a boom in transport, especially for the youth community. I can tell you from personal experience, trans youth don't need conversion therapy. They don't need to be reformed. They don't need to be put down and invalidated. They need to be affirmed.
Actually, they need to go through rigorous checks and diagnoses to make sure what they're feeling is actually gender dysphoria. That's the very logical approach that actually would help every single person involved. But instead, you're choosing blind affirmation because you're fucking crazy. And baby, I'm gonna need you to get used to more trans people speaking out on this because it's gonna be an avalanche and I'm sure you're really gonna hate that, but that is what's happening. So whatever reality you're living in, sorry. Kids don't need to be sterilized. They don't.
Do you feel like something was off? That you were supposed to be a girl?
Like 5. Let's talk about it because people love thinking that there's some sort of hypocrisy in me saying that, yes, I felt different at 5, and also, yes, children should not be sterilized. As if those two things can't be true at the same time. I did not know I was transgender at 5 years old. I sensed that things were off at 5 years old. That has nothing to do with my ability to consent to medicalization, lifelong medicalization. I know a lot of these people are incapable of holding two thoughts in their head at the same time, but you can actually believe that actual trans people tend to feel it from a very young age, and also they don't know yet because they're 5, right? I absolutely sensed something was off when I was 5. That had nothing to do with my ability to consent to a lifelong medicalization, to consent to everything that entails being transgender. I didn't know I was transgender at 5. In fact, I've always said I had no idea what transgender was until I was much older, and I could actually comprehend it and decide, you know what? This actually is the appropriate steps for me because I'm an adult now and I can figure that out for myself. Me personally feeling gender dysphoria at 5 years old has literally nothing to do with a child's ability to consent to changing their sex. Children cannot consent to sex or changing their sex. And if you disagree, something's really fucking wrong with you. Just saying.
I never tell parents, period.
It's a problem that the teacher feels like they have the ability or the right to keep a secret.
Speaking as a parent, no, it's not.
Okay, well that's a problem and you're a bad parent. I have no problem saying that. If you think a teacher, someone who's not related to your child, has more right to information or secrets about your child than you do, something's fucking wrong. Something's wrong. Let's watch this one. That's a cute picture. Wait, that's a nice one. Thanks, that was cute. Oh, that's a normal reaction to have. You seem sane.
I'm glad you actually brought her up. She is probably one of the most respected trans people that I can think of.
Well, thank you.
And I say she out of respect. My beliefs about trans are my own. But out of respect for her, because she is a good person and she has her head on straight, I call her she.
Thank you.
But no, Blaire White's awesome.
Thank you.
She makes very valid points. She brings up all the things that people don't want to talk about. That this idea that just being trans is just this great journey, and you know, she actually talks about things no one wants to talk about. And I love when trans community calls her transphobic. She's trans.
Right.
What she is not agreeing with their narrative, which pisses people off because you're just supposed to blindly believe what you hear and agree. For that reason,
Preach.
I have a lot of respect for her.
Thanks, girl. I thought these were all going to be negative. I'm not going to lie. I had someone else collect all these and they put some nice ones in. So that's fun. Okay, I guess that's all of them. That was interesting. This is the part of the video where I usually talk about the deep message of the video I'm trying to convey. There's no deep message. I was just having fun with this one, but I will say, don't send any hate to any of them. Most of them are going through enough. You can kind of tell. And I love you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel as well as my second channel, which is my podcast channel, which I am so in love with how well it's going. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. I almost forgot to blow a kiss. I've done that in every video. Girl, bye.